All right, so since we're talking about comic books and reading more and all that other kind of stuff, let's start talking about the comic books that are coming our way. I only have one topic that I've come across that is going to be coming in 2014 that I am pretty interested in, and that's the Original Sin crossover. Now, as I said before, I haven't watched or haven't read everything leading up to this, so that's one of the things that makes it interesting to me, hearing what other people's opinions are about what's going to happen on the storyline and all that kind of stuff. Now, Orion, are you familiar with Original Sin?
I've heard of it. Yes, I read some stuff on it. Like it's about the Watcher getting killed, and then the Avengers or whoever is going to try to find out who killed the Watcher.
Right, and a pretty interesting story because Uatu is supposed to be one of those like high level cosmic beings in the Marvel universe. So whenever they kill off a character like that, something big's probably going to happen. And the only information that I really know other than that is that there's apparently going to be two separate teams, one of Nick Fury, Captain America, Spider-Man, and Wolverine against another team, the Doctor Strange and Punisher and all that. I don't know if this is going to be as impactful as Civil War was or any of the other storylines that they've had in the past couple of years. Some of them, obviously, people don't even care about at all. It's got to go somewhere on the scale. So that'll be pretty interesting to watch how that unfolds over the next year. If that's going to end up being one of those big things that shocks the ground and really shakes things up, or if it's just going to end up being another thing that passes by and people go, wait, what happened? Wait, Spider-Man's this guy now, or Nick Fury is a white guy again, or like any of the things that they end up changing.
Nick
Uh,
Fury's Asian.
now he's Asian, and then next year he's going to be another ethnicity, and so on and so forth. Uh, but that's all I know about comics. I mean, let's go around in a circle a little bit again. Eddie, do you have anything with comic books that you're going to be interested in for 2014?
Well, here's the thing. I haven't really been too around, I mean, too into comics for the past 15 years or so. Nothing against it because I heard so much about, for instance, Killing Joke. I heard way too much about that, so I'm really curious about it. But yeah, comics is not really my area of expertise. But I do know that, yeah, there's some storylines coming out right now with is it Justice League?
Hmm.
Yeah, that apparently supposed to be really awesome. So I don't know. It's you know what? It's one of my New Year's resolution. Start reading comics again. 'Cause I mean, all this interesting stuff keeps happening, and I'm just letting it pass by because I'm into music and games and books and whatever else, but not comics. So I'm more interested in what you guys have to say than anything that I have to say.
Sam, what do you think? Is there anything with comics that you're going to get into?
I hear like he said, I hear so many interesting things, and the biggest problem that I've had, maybe it's just because I've just gotten into TV shows and movies so often that I kind of lose comics lose me a little bit. I've tried to read them; they're interesting. I love comics. I love the characters and everything. But to actually sit down and read a comic book, I'd rather see what they did with Batman Year One and turn it into an animated show that I can watch. But to actually get into books, I haven't really read anything of the New 52. I'd like to see what they did with that. I've heard good stuff about it. And I'm really interested. I've actually read a couple of them, and they've gotten my attention, is Superior Spider-Man.
Travis?
Mm, I'm not really a big comic book reader, uh, which I
God,
know.
we're all so terrible.
That's why we all have the resolution that we need to read more.
Yeah. Well, see, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like to read and everything, and like as far as I go, I'll read a graphic novel from time to time because, well, they're just awesome. Uh, I really, I've becoming even more of a big Batman fan as of late. So, just gonna throw this up to the panel here. What would be a good starting point for me for comic book wise?
I would say, I mean, what do you like in like
Okay,
what kind of genre do you like?
see, that's a great question there too. I'm not very picky about it. In fact, I'll tell you this much: my favorite villains in the whole universe obviously is the Joker and Harley Quinn, because well, Harley Quinn says she's hot as hell.
Here, here.
If I mean, she can hit me with that big old mallet anytime, but I'm just saying. But just something that involves at least those two main characters. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Penguin. I do like the Riddler. You know, just like the more mainstream villains, I do have a big thing about.
Well, unfortunately for you, I'm actually mostly a Marvel guy. When it comes to DC, I mainly like Batman Beyond and the Teen Titans TV show. So I don't really
Teen
read.
Titans.
Yeah, I really don't read a lot of DC comics outside of Batman Beyond series. Uh, but when it comes to the Batman Beyond series, it's pretty fun. There's a storyline you might like. It doesn't feature the Joker or Harley Quinn because this is the future, and the Joker already had his time in Return of the Joker. But a cool storyline to read is 10,000 Clowns, which you can get as a collected trade paperback, and it's all about the rise of, not really the rise of the Jokers. They become an even bigger Batman has to face, and it also has basically Bruce Wayne kind of dying throughout the series, throughout the storyline. And spoiler, he actually doesn't die, but he like gets close to it.
He's Batman. He never
And
does.
you also get, and I think it's also that storyline where you get introduced to Catwoman Beyond, who's a pretty interesting character.
What I would say would be a good starting point, at least it was a pretty good starting point for me, even though it completely flies in the face of a good starting point for reading comics, the Batman animated series. If you start off by watching that, you get a lot of the
cool.
comic book stories that they've told in the past in a very short window. And then if you extend it too, and you include the Superman animated show and the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, by that point where you've watched that whole Bruce Timm universe thing, you've got a really good foundation to start off with. And they don't obviously do whole on storylines where they bring out, exactly the same characters from the comics and stuff like that, but they reference so many things that when you do end up coming across like a different comic book here and there that you read, you'll be like, oh my god, I watched an episode that was based off of this, like the Laughing Fish, or there's a whole episode of the Batman animated show that it has 3 different storylines in the episode. It's kind of like that whole, well, this is my version of this and this is my version, and they're all based off of different things. Like one of them is kind of campy, like the old Adam West thing. Another one is a really, really short and compacted version of Dark Knight Returns. So for a kid, when I was watching it, I had no idea what any of this meant and why Batman's in a giant tank and shooting at these monster-looking people. Then, when you grow up and you find that it's this whole storyline of the mutant gang and all that, then you're like, oh, damn it, that was the thing that I was watching as a kid that I completely didn't understand. But that would be a good starting point, I would think. And if anybody else that's listening to this has a good idea of a good jumping point for the comics, make sure that you send us a comment and let Travis know.
It's most definitely a good starting point because if you are subscribed to Netflix, right now you can stream for whatever you pay on Netflix the entire seasons of Justice League Unlimited, and Batman Beyond. Unfortunately, you can't stream the 1990s Batman animated series or even like any Teen Titans, which is, I don't get why you can't do the Batman at least, because I really want to watch the Batman. I only watched like a few episodes and I really want to see the series, but you can't see it on YouTube. You can't watch it on Hulu or Netflix or any of those. It's like it's not even available. You have to buy the DVDs.
That
They used to have a 90s Spider-Man series on Netflix, and they got rid of that. Another really good starting point, actually, for anybody is Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Oh yeah.
That's on Netflix, and that's a great show. I'm sad to see that it only had 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's a good
the
jumping
Avengers
point for
Assemble. Yeah, Avengers Assemble, the new show that replaced it, nothing compared to Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
I still haven't seen that.
And I mean, I see that all the time with like Young Justice. They got rid of that, and it was a decent show.
Yeah. That had some good references to comic book stuff. I mean, they even...
Spectacular Spider-Man was the greatest Spider-Man show ever.
I actually liked the MTV one, even, to an extent, but...
Yeah, that was okay to a
Right.
degree.
It's like
Ultimate
the 13
Spider-Man.
episodes that they did. That was enough, but it was cool.
And
I'm
kids,
all about the Spider-Man memes, man.
yeah, and
I
kids,
love those.
if you're listening, kids, do not watch Ultimate Spider-Man on Disney. It's lying to you about so many things.
It's terrible.
Or
I mean, they had Deadpool on there, and he was just a joke.
I'll one up you.
No!
I'll one up you even more. Don't watch that 90s Unlimited Spider-Man.
Oh god.
Oh,
like the
crap.
original Spider-Man.
That was the one where Spider-Man's on a different planet, and it's like
Oh, it was an
With monkey
alternate
people.
Earth, wasn't it?
something like that, or a different dimension or something. God, that was this.
Like Venom and Carnage like followed him, and
Make babies.
It's all about the oh my god, I can't even remember the character's name because I try to block it out. It's like a bad memory. He starts with an M.
there's a high evolutionary.
Yeah, the high evolutionary. He's
yeah,
right in that.
humans were on the low end of the evolutionary pole, and there were these animal people.
It's so terrible. Oh my god, whose idea was that? Shaun, any comic book stuff that's coming in 2014 that you're excited about?
Come back to me in 2015.
Why 2015? What's coming then?
I have no idea. I haven't read anything. Give me a chance. Only just made my resolution this year, man. Fucking hell.
Well, Orion, you've got to have some stuff coming our way. What is it?
Oh yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. Most of it's probably gonna be tailored towards my taste in comics. Which, if you've been following me on Facebook, on Fanboys Anonymous, you'll know I'm a huge Venom and Moon Knight fan. But I'll try to include some stuff in this podcast that is not Venom or Moon Knight related. So to begin with, just this last week, or no, this week, Image Comics had their Image Expo 2014, where they had a bunch of creators go to where was it? It was like somewhere in Northern California, and all the creators were announcing their new series and talking with the fans and the press. It was not your usual convention, but they have a whole list of new comics that will be coming out soon. Which, I know it's not on Fanboys Anonymous yet, if anyone's going to cover that, but on comicbookresources.com, you can actually find a complete list of all the newly announced titles that will be coming out. One of them that really interests me, just because the title is Bitch Planet, and the cover advertises. Let's see, what does it say? It says, "Are you woman enough to survive Bitch Planet? Girls, gangs, caged and enraged." So there's that with Image Comics, and then Free Comic Book Day will be coming in April. I forget which day exactly, but with Free Comic Book Day, there's a few things that are going to be coming out that's going to be interesting. On the DC side, how rare it is I talk about it. Sorry, one moment. Yeah, on the DC Comics side, we'll be getting a new, supposedly weekly comic book series called New 52 Futures End, which will aim at bringing Batman Beyond into the New 52 continuity. And it's not just going to be like, oh, it's a whole new kind of Batman Beyond or Batman of the future. It's actually going to be Terry McGinnis. And the way they've structured it is this story that they're going to try introducing him through is going to take place after the animated series. And it will be following its own path away from the comics that are currently out and available to read, because the current comics actually take place after the animated series as well. But I guess this new 52 business is supposed to be doing its own thing with Terry McGinnis, and it's going to be a different kind of Terry McGinnis from what we already know. And then also on new comic book on Free Comic Book Day, we'll also be getting a all new Guardians of the Galaxy lineup, just in time for the film, which I think comes out the week before Free Comic Book Day. And this new lineup includes Captain Marvel, who was originally Miss Marvel, and Agent Venom, and since he's going to be on the Guardians of the Galaxy, that means he's probably going to survive the current Superior Spider-Man storyline, The Darkest Hours, where Superior Spider-Man becomes the Superior Venom. If you haven't read that, sorry, spoiler alert. And then other new comics that are coming out that are pretty exciting this year is the all-new Moon Knight. In March 5th to be exact, Declan Shalvey and Warren Ellis and Jordi Belair will be publishing an all-new Moon Knight ongoing monthly series with Marvel Comics. And if you want to know anything about that, just keep an eye out on Fanboys Anonymous for the next couple of weeks, as I and Dan Ashley will be publishing a nice long article introducing you to Moon Knight and giving you some suggestions to read up before the series comes out. And then Cullen Bunn is also returning to the world of symbiotes with Deadpool vs. Carnage and Superior Carnage Annual. The Superior Carnage Annual comes out first and continues the story of Superior Carnage, where Cletus Cassidy gets his symbiote back from whatever the mess was in Superior Carnage storyline. And then that will transition over to Deadpool vs. Carnage, which should be a very exciting series, since it's one of the biggest team-ups, or not really team-up, but the biggest battles that's ever been requested by fans.
It's a lot coming that you're excited about. It kind of trumps everything that we're into.
Sorry, big comic book geek here. Not afraid to say it.
You're going to end up needing to give us all starting points for where we're going to have to jump on. I guess that kind of rules out all the comic book stuff. I mean, comics one of those things where if you're not one of the people that's really in the know like Orion is, then you kind of don't know where to start for what's coming our way for 2014. But since we all have that, or not all of us, but we all are thinking about doing that whole read more comics and all that stuff more resolution, hopefully by next year, like Shaun's saying, 2015, we'll have a better grasp of what's coming our way.
I forgot. I'm sorry. There's just two more points I'd like to make. I completely forgot about that are probably big and exciting if you are into the comic book world. And that is the current Superior Spider-Man series that's going on, written by Dan Slott and drawn by Humberto Ramos. There's also going to be a relaunch of The Amazing Spider-Man coming sometime this year. And that could either mean the end of the Superior Spider-Man as Peter Parker takes back his own body from the control of Doc Ock's mind, or something of that matter. But we don't know any details yet, so that'll be something to look out for. And then another thing, which was, I think, just announced today, was that currently in the comics world, in the Ultimate Marvel comics, there's a whole event called Cataclysm going on, which was rumored to be the end all of all Ultimate comic books, because they had Galactus come into the Ultimate Universe and basically destroying everything. But Marvel recently just announced today that the Ultimate comics are being relaunched. At least 3 titles are being relaunched as all new Ultimate comics, and including the Ultimate Spider-Man, who is currently Miles Morales, who replaced Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe after he died.
Well, what's going to be even more awkward is the next part. We're going to talk about video games. I'm going to tell you a little spoiler before that part. I got nothing.